3. 4, 2. 9. 7. 3. There you are. Let's go. Box 3. 5. There you are, you little scoundrel. Box 3. Mother at rest at last. Like all. Dark nurse. Slight improvement in bowel condition. Mental. Memorable excellence. Farewell to love.
$39 today. And intellectually, I now have every reason to suspect the crest of the wave or thereabouts. Celebrated the awful occasion, as in recent years, at the wine house. Not a soul. Sat before the fire with closed eyes, separating the grain from the husks. Jotted down a few notes on the back of an old envelope. Good to be back in my den, my old rags. I've just eaten, I regret to say, 3 bananas, and only with difficulty refrained from a fourth. Fatal things for a man with my condition. Cut him out. The new light above my table is a great improvement. With all the darkness around me, I feel less alone. In a way. I love to get up and move about in it. Then back here to me. Krapp. The grave. Now what, I wonder, do I mean by that? I mean, I suppose I mean those things worth having when all the dust has, when all my dust has settled. I close my eyes and try and imagine them. Extraordinary silence this evening. I strain my ears and do not hear a sound. Old Miss McGlum always sings at this hour. But not tonight. Songs of her girlhood, she says. It's hard to think of her as a girl. Wonderful woman, though. Taunt, I fancy. Shall I sing when I am her age, if I ever am? No. Did I sing as a boy? No. Did I ever sing? No. Just been listening to an old year, passages at random. I did not check in the book, but it must be at least 10 or 12 years ago. At that time, I think I was still living on and off with Bianca in Kettle Street. Well, out of that. Jesus, yes. Hopeless business. Not much about her, apart from a tribute to her eyes. Very warm. I suddenly saw them again. Incomparable. Well. These old PMs are gruesome, but I often find them a help before embarking on a new retrospect. Hard to believe I was ever that young whelp. The voice, Jesus, and the aspirations, and the resolutions. To drink less, in particular. Statistics. 1,700 hours out of the preceding 8,000 odd consumed on licensed premises alone. More than 20%, say 40% of his waking life. Plans for a less engrossing sexual life. Last illness of his father. Flagging pursuit of happiness. Unattainable laxation. Sneers at what he calls his youth, and thanks to God that it's over. False ring there. Shadows of the opus magnum. Closing with a yelp to Providence. What remains of all that misery? A girl in a shabby green coat on a railway station platform. No? When I look
is drawing nigh, shadow.
with what I hope is perhaps a glint of the old I to come, there is, of course, the house on the canal where mother lay a-dying in the late autumn. After her long gratuity in the
perpetuity, state, or condition of being or remaining a widow or widower. Being or remaining. Deep weeds of vituity. Also of an animal, especially bird. The vitua or weaver bird. Black plumage. Male. Vitua bird.
Benched by the weir from where I could see her window. There I sat in the biting wind, wishing she were gone. Hardly a soul, just a few regulars, nursemaids, infants, old men, dogs. I got to know them quite well. Oh, by appearance, of course. One dark young beauty I recollect particularly, all light and starch, incomparable bosom, with a big black hooded perambulator, most funereal thing. Whenever I looked in her direction, she had her eyes on me. And yet when I was bold enough to speak to her, not having been introduced, she threatened to call a policeman, as if I had designs on her virtue. The face she had, the eyes, like chrysolite. Well. I was there when the blind went down. One of those dirty brown roller affairs. Throwing a ball for a little white dog, as chance would have it. I happened to look up, and there it was. All over and done with, at last. I sat on for a few moments with the ball in my hand, and the dog yelping and pawing at me. Moments. Her moments. My moments. The dog's moments. In the end, I held it out to him, and he took it in his mouth gently. Gently. A small, old, black, hard, solid rubber ball. I shall feel it in my hand until my dying day. I might have kept it, but I gave it to the dog. Well. Spiritually, a year of profound gloom and indigence, until that memorable night in March jetty, and the howling wind, never to be forgotten. And suddenly I saw the whole thing. The vision at last. This, I fancy, is what I have chiefly to record this evening. Against the day when my work will be done, and perhaps no place left in my memory, warm or cold, for the mirror, for the fire that set it alight. What I suddenly saw then was this, that the belief I had been going on all my life, namely, great granite rocks, the foam flying up in the light of the lighthouse, and the wind gauge spinning like a propeller. Clear to me at last that the dark I have always struggled to keep under is in reality my most unshakable association until my dissolution of storm and night with the light of the understanding and the fire my face in her breasts and my hand on her. We lay there without moving. Under us, all moved, and moved us, gently, up and down, and from side to side, past midnight. Never knew such silence. The earth might be uninhabited. Upper lake, with the punt, bathed up the bank, that pushed out into the stream and drifted. She lay stretched out on the floorboards, with her hands behind her head, and her eyes closed, sun blazing down, bit of a breeze, water nice and lively. I noticed a scratch on her thigh and asked her how she came by it. Picking gooseberries, she said. I said again, I thought it was hopeless and no good going on, and she agreed without opening her eyes. I asked her to look at me, and after a few moments, she did. But the eyes just slits because of the glare. I bent over her to get them in the shadow, and they opened. Let me in. We drifted in among the flags and stopped. The way they went down sighing before the stem. I lay down across her, with my face in her breasts and my hand on her. We lay there without moving. And under us, all moved, and moved us, gently, up and down, and from side to side, past midnight. Never knew.
Just been listening to that stupid bastard I took myself for 30 years ago. Hard to believe I was ever as bad as that. Thank God everything on. Everything there. Everything on this old muckball. All the light, dark, famine, the feasting. Yes! Let it go. Jesus. Think his mind off his homework. Jesus! Well, maybe he was right. Nothing to say. Not a squeak. What's a year now? Sour cud and the iron stool. Reveled in the word swoon. Happiest moment of the past 500,000. "17 copies sold, of which 11 at trade price to free circulating libraries beyond the seas. Getting known. £1.6 something. 8, I have a little doubt. Crawled out once or twice before the summer was cold. Sat shivering in the park. Drowned in dreams. Burning to be gone. Not a soul. Last fancies. Keep them under. Scolded the eyes out of me, reading Effie again. Page a day. Tears again. Could have been happy with her. Up there in the Baltics. Pines. The dunes. Could I? And she. Fanny came by a couple of times. Bony old ghost of a whore. Couldn't do much. Still was better than the thumb and the forefinger, I suppose. Last time wasn't so bad. How do you manage it, she said, at your age? I told her I've been saving up for her all my life. Went to Vespers once. Like when I was in short trousers. Now the day is over. Night is drawing. Now hello. Of the evening, still across the sky. Went to sleep, fell off the pew. Sometimes wandered in the night. The final effort might. God. Finish your booze. Get to your bed. Get on with this drivel in the morning. Leave it at that. Or leave it at that. Lie. Propped up in the dark. And wonder. Again in the dingle. On a Christmas morning. Gathering holly. Red berried. Be again on the Krogan. A Sunday morning. With the haze. And the bench. Stop. And listen to the bells. And so on. And so on. Be again. Once was not enough for you. Lie down across her.
Gooseberries, she said. I said again, I thought it was hopeless and no good going on, and she agreed without opening her eyes. I asked her to look at me, and after a few moments, she did. But the eyes just slits because of the glare. I bent over her to get them in the shadow, and they opened. Let me in. We drifted in among the flags and stuck. Away they went down, sighing before the stem. I lay down across her, with my face in her breasts, and my hand on her. We lay there without moving. Under us, all moved, and moved us, gently, up and down, and from side to side. Past midnight. Never knew such silence. The earth might be uninhabited. Here I end this reel. Box 3, Spool 5. Perhaps my best years are gone, when there was a chance of happiness. But I wouldn't want them back. Not with the fire in me now.